So the course that we're going to present over the next 3 days is really just a beginning or an introduction to cost estimation. And I will tell you a little bit about myself. Professor Lee started with an introduction. First, let me go over the outline for today a little bit. So the course is 3 days long. And each morning, we're going to have 4 hours of lecture. We'll go through all the basic estimating concepts. And each afternoon will be a workshop where you actually will be forming teams and preparing your own sample estimates. And one of my associates, Charles McGuire, he will lead you through your workshops in the afternoon. So the idea is to give you some of the theoretical information and then give you just a little hands-on practice so you get an idea of what we are doing. We also are here with Chloe Moon, who is also from our company, Strategic Estimating Systems. So if you need to ask a question in Korean, you can always ask Chloe, and then she'll tell me, what to do. Charles is a senior estimator with our company, Strategic Estimating Systems. All right, so this afternoon we'll have a workshop. Where are we? I'm jumping ahead. So just a little bit of an introduction, and hopefully you all have the books in front of you. I am Mike Monteith. I went to school for civil engineering at Columbia University. I was at Columbia at the same time President Obama was at Columbia, but I never saw him on campus, so I don't know. Theoretically, he went to Columbia University. Then I went and got an MBA at the University of Rochester and majored in finance. And right after that, I went into work into estimating. So I've never, even though I have an engineering degree, I've never worked a day of my life as an engineer. And it was at Columbia, we took some construction management courses, and I was first introduced to estimating. And almost instantly, I realized that this is what I'd like to do for my career, which was a big transition. I mean, how many of you, when you started college, knew what you wanted to do with for your career? Did anyone? How many people now know what you want to do for a career? Anyone yet? For me, when I started college, I was 18 years old. I didn't even really know what an engineer did. The only reason I was in an engineering class was because my parents said, well, you're good at math, you should study engineering. And it's like, okay. And it wasn't until my senior year at college that I took some courses in construction management, and that's where I realized, hey, I really like this. I like estimating, and we also did scheduling. And I say, I like this part of engineering, and started to focus on that as a career. Coming out of school, then I worked for Praxair, which is an industrial gases company, as a junior engineer in their estimating department. Then I worked for Linde AG, German company, as an estimating manager. After that, I worked for Fluor, who is a global engineering and construction company, and that was in Houston, Texas, as the estimating director. And then about 10 years ago, I started my own company, Strategic Estimating Systems. And the name Strategic Estimating Systems was selected on purpose. And the idea is that estimating as a function can be a strategic advantage to companies. So as you graduate and start to work, the whole world will change a little bit for you. Because in university, the goal is for you to learn. And when you start working, the goal is you have a company that's trying to survive. And the marketplace is very competitive. The marketplace is global now. And as soon as you start working as engineers, there's a good chance the company you work for will be competing on a global basis versus other Korean companies, versus American companies, European, Chinese companies. And it's very competitive. And the companies that stay in business are the companies that do the best. Whether they can do things faster or cheaper or better, but somehow you have to learn to be competitive. And my vision for estimating was that estimating can be part of a competitive advantage for these engineering companies. And traditionally, it's been looked at as just a discipline or something that has to get done. As you work through a project and build a plant, at some point you have to do an estimate. But the idea is that it can be considered something that if you get really good at it and really efficient, that you can use that for a competitive advantage. And so that was the whole idea behind our company, Strategic Estimating Systems. And that was about 10 years ago that we started. Just 2 more slides about our company, and it's important because it'll help you understand the frame of mind, frame of reference for what we're talking about over the next 3 days. So we are an estimating consulting company, meaning that's all that we do. We participate in all of the chemical process industries, oil and gas, refinery, LNG, mining projects, petrochemicals, power plants. And we specialize in the software that we're going to be looking at today. So for a lot of reasons, the Aspen Technology software for estimating is the state of the art. It's the best estimating software that's available on the market today. Now, maybe someone will come and produce a better software, but today it's by far the best software that's available in the marketplace. Best meaning it'll help you to prepare better estimates quicker and more accurately. So that's our actual expertise, and there's 3 main products. They have Process Economic Analyzer, In-Plant Cost Estimator, and Capital Cost Estimator. The product that we'll be using this afternoon and for these 3 days is Capital Cost Estimator, and you'll get your hands a little bit wet in that. We typically, when we train a new estimator, we plan that it's going to take at least a year till they're proficient using the software. And this is using it every day, 40 hours a week, because it's a very powerful software, but because it's so powerful, there's also a lot to learn within the software. But it's also very easy to start using. So pretty much by an hour or 2 into the examples, you'll be able to press some buttons and do some work in the software. Aspen Capital Cost Estimator. Lastly, sometimes we list the companies that we work for, but I like the nice colors on the slides. So these are some of our clients over the past 10 years. And you'll know some of the names you won't know. But certainly there's a good mix of Korean companies. SK is a client of ours, Samsung, Daewoo we do work for, and you'll see there's some companies all over the world. This itself should show you that really the marketplace is global. And that wasn't the case when I was in engineering school. And we didn't put the dates up there. Maybe I look young, I don't know. But it was 30 years ago that I was in engineering school. And so really at that point, the economy or the marketplace wasn't global. But today it's an inevitable fact, whether you like it or not. Some people like it, some people don't like it, but that's the reality. So if you're a mechanical engineer and you have a project and you have to buy a pump, it doesn't matter where your project is. That pump will be sourced anywhere in the world. You might buy it from Italy. You might buy it from Japan or China or Korea or the United States. And your project might be in Africa. I mean, pretty much everything is interchangeable parts, and it's a global economy. Even a company like ours, we're not a big company. We have 20 people, but we do work all over the world. And that's really the reality of today. So I know part of the whole idea behind this course and the other training courses is to really raise the competitiveness of you as students and the companies that you'll work for, because there is an investment that's being made in you with this material. So, okay.